All right, welcome to Storycomic Presents, where we interview amazing storytellers and artists. This is episode 98. I am your host, Barney Smith of Storycomic.com, and we're excited to have with us the internationally known and award-winning writer and director, Michael Moutsatsos. Michael.
Hey, Barney.
Hey, thanks for joining us. This is good.
Thanks for having me.
East Coast, West Coast. See, look at that. Where our conversation it's spanning 3,000 miles right now.
I used to be on your side of the coast.
Okay, all right, that's right. You used to be in New York.
New York, yeah.
So Michael, you just last year, a couple of years ago, you just came out. You just had an award-winning movie that came out called The Butcher, which you basically self-funded it, correct? Absolutely.
Yes. I'm self-funding my new movie as well, and I self-funded the other one. I did the Indiegos and the this and that's and the GoFundMe, and it's not happening.
So talk to us a bit about how you got into filmmaking.
Yeah. I was always on the other side of the camera. Growing up, I was an actor since I was years old. Theater, summer, I did Cats in 1978-ish, 9 around there. You know, movies in New York, The Warriors. I did lots of stuff. I came out here to LA, worked on movies, bit parts, day player parts, lead, did it. And I've had enough of that. I've got to try writing my own stuff and then doing my own thing. Just tired of people saying you're too tall, you're too short, you're too fat, you're too this, you're too that. Whatever. So I kind of stopped that.
And so when you started doing that, because I remember you said in a previous interview that you kind of self-taught yourself. You taught yourself writing, editing, the photography, the DP stuff. Now, did you learn that some of these skills on the fly, or did you take some classes for this, or how did you actually get to the point where you're winning awards based off of your work?
I never went to film school. I went to film, as Quentin Tarantino said. These are my guys. I've known them and waited on him, and Robert Rodriguez and Eli Roth, and that kind of guy. I self-taught. I go on. I look at tutorials. Everything is self-taught. Today, you know how to do everything. The scoring, the mixing, DP work, writing. I did it at the beginning. Poof from Shinola. So, but it's been a great ride. You want to, if you love the business that much, and you love filmmaking that much. Am I going to rely on a DP guy who can't make it? No.
So do you feel like that one of the first skills to learn is, what would you consider that as, all these hats that you're able to wear as a director? Do you feel what was the first thing that you said, I need how to learn to do this? Was it the writing piece? Was it the directing piece? Was it the editing piece? What were the things that you said, in order for me to start, this is the thing I need to start with?
Definitely the writing has, for me, without a script, you have nothing.
Right.
So 20, 30 scripts later, and you just keep hammering away and hammering away and hammering away. Same thing with, with being a director, 7 films. So to The Butcher, the 7 movies I did prior to that, for me personally, was not ready. And I felt The Butcher was ready.
And you actually created like that. This came out, and you won awards for this. Do you want to talk a bit about the 2 awards you won? The Fantastic Horror Film Festival for 2020 and the Hollywood Blood Horror Festival 2019 award on this.
Yeah, The Butcher. Yeah, 57 awards internationally and domestically. Yeah. So I
Right.
mean, it's it's not just horror film festivals. I mean, I've won in regular film festivals that have nothing to do with the horror genre.
Right.
Um, so that was pretty exciting. Yeah, so
So what was
it's
it? Well,
kind of
so what
dope.
is it about? So what is it about for you, Michael? That because all of your films, that the ones that you mostly have written and produced, have a horror tinge to it. What it is about that? What is it about that genre that kind of like draws you to writing and directing horror?
I just thought that was a great genre. That's something that I love from
Mm,
back in the day of Halloween and The Exorcist as a
right.
kid of 13, 14, 16, whatever. I dug those movies, and how do they do those special effects? And like in Halloween and Friday the 13th, the Tom Savini, you know, slicing and the aesthetics and then the blood squirts. And I thought that was pretty cool.
Right.
So the book plays homage to it. Texas Chainsaw Massacre is what kind the Butcher and Hostel, and I blended those together and did the Butcher.
Right. And so what I like about, so there's a piece of some your work, especially in Ravage and also the Butcher. There seems to be also some hints of almost science fiction or fantasy in the sense where it's there's a level like that. Ravage is about, it's post-apocalyptic. There's the Butcher is about somebody who has mad cow disease, and he's able to kind of spread mad cow disease about. And so, is there something where is there a sense of making things a little bit more fantastical adds to the horror, or actually makes it more um, easier for the audience to kind of step away from it?
I mean, the Butcher and Ravage both basically started as small, tiny little projects. They were both shorts.
Right. Okay.
I had no intention of making either one of them into a full-fledged feature. Ravage is being born because I just wrapped it a couple last week. By me being stir crazy for the pandemic.
Right.
I wanted to write a small little thing, and it had initially one person in it. It was a short. It was a 20-minute short, and it was one person. I said, "Let's go make it. We can do it safely." And another guy, a friend of mine, and it didn't work out. I fired him. And it starts off. You're right. It starts off as Contagion-ish, the movie Contagion,
Mm-hmm.
and I moved it to and then I took liberties, of course, in the situation we're in now, which is not too far away. Other mutations, other strains, because the movie now takes place in the year 2032. So I took liberty. World War III broke out in the year 2022, next year. Nations blamed each other, so World War III happened. This one guy is the only survivor, and brings us to I Am Legend-y kind of territory, and he thinks he's the only person left on the planet. And obviously, he's not. But yeah, I mean, everything is born out of COVID. Everything, this movie is born out of COVID. We're still going through it. So, I
Right.
mean, my movie is coming to fruition. It's coming to, there's other mutations, there's other strains, there's other this, there's other that. So it's like, life is not just imitating art, but life is art,
Yeah.
if that makes any sense.
Right. No, that does. Yeah.
So
And
it's weird. Yeah,
right.
yeah, it's weird.
So, talk to us a bit about, you've finished wrapping up Ravage. You're now in pre-production for The Butcher 2. What was the inspiration behind making a sequel to The Butcher?
I dug the project a lot. I'm kind of also, I was supposed to have been doing Amityville Legend. I postponed it until next year, until next January, because of COVID. I sent just the script out to film festivals. The script won 24 awards by itself.
Wow.
For me, that is more of a high, and for them, that's more of a high because it's about the writer. And anybody can be a director, but to a 120-page script that people are digging. And I wanted to do something because I know there's a lot of Amityvilles out there, and they did that because it's the name is anybody could use the name, and they're making crap movies. They're just making shit. And mine is a year before the originals. Technically, you're not allowed to mention the names, which are not in the DeFeos, and the Lunces are not mentioned in my script. It's a fresh original script. It actually takes place in 1940 vaudeville, and then it moves to the 70s and Long Island, and yeah. But it's not like Amityville Shark or Amityville Possession or Amityville whatever. It's not crap. People are just using that name just to. I mean, I know 10 new ones that are coming out that are just. Come on, really, guys? Come on, really? But hey, more power to you. I'm sure there's an audience for that kind of stuff. That's just not me. I'm not that guy. I don't go into that kind of schleck.
Is there a specific thing that you would say for the Michael Moutsatsos fans out there? Is there something that you always kind of like add into your movies or your shows, like a little something for your fans to watch out for?
What do you mean, cameos and stuff, or?
Well, cameos are little Easter eggs. Like, would you like, for instance, if somebody's watching Ravage, is there going to be any homage to the Butcher in there at all? Like
no homage to the Butcher, except I have a little cameo myself in Ravage. I gave myself a little 3-minute part. There's a really good friend of mine. There's a really good friend of mine who's a big rock and roll guy. I don't want to mention his name, but he's got a nice. He came to me and asked me, "Hey, you got something? I got this idea, blah blah blah." I'm like, "Yeah, let's shoot." He did. There's little things to sci-fi, horror, little sprinkles of stuff, but there's not anything else really in your face. The Butcher was more in your face. You can see when there's a Kill Bill's motorcycle in the corner, the war. There's a sign. I threw in the Butcher in the background, and there's little Easter eggs like that.
Right.
That were done deliberately. One of the an interviewer from a magazine talks to me as the Butcher, Thaddeus Knight, and he's a movie, not a movie critic, a food critic, and his name is Michael Myers. Hello. Things like that are done on purpose. But nothing really in your face in Ravage like that. Right. I just wanted to make them just two separate things.
Your friend Rachel Kelly just says, "Can't wait to see Ravage." So
in post, hopefully we'll be doing audience screenings in my house. I have a theater in my house,
cool.
I can do have 40 people at a time, and just give me some fever. 120 screen drops down, and that's how I did it before. I'd have test screenings first. And I listen to people, and if certain things are warranted, to make a change. If not, I get the last say.
Right.
And hopefully I'm right. Oh, sorry guys, I screwed that one up. They can't be that.
So do you have any specifically within the horror movie genre? Is there any specific tropes, or is there any specific things that just kind of like that are like is a pet peeve to you? It's like, why do they have to do that? Is there anything in there that you say, in my movies you'll never see this happen because I think it's overplayed, or anything like that?
I do have a few pet peeves in films, not just in the horror genre.
Okay.
Continuity, number one. I can name several films, but it's like, what the did anybody in a studio not catch this, or whatever? But what the my friends
And
know
those,
me, they love me. I'm sitting there watching a movie, like, oh, for God's sakes, really?
that's the word for what's the word for the person that has to make sure there's that continuity person you have on the set to make sure, like, between shots, like the cup is always at that half full mark or things like that.
Well, I mean, as far as like script is concerned, it's the script supervisor. But
Okay.
I'm the writer, so I mean, if we discuss things, and how I felt last January when I wrote the damn thing is not how I'm feeling this morning. I let the actors be. I want the actors to be organic. I want the actors. They don't have to say every and or but in my script. Like we just did with Ravage. There's a few scenes in there that's like, guys, we know where we're going. We know which points we have to hit. But I want the conversation and flashback scenes to be natural. I want it to be. I let the camera roll, and you guys just talk and talk, and I'm right there next to the actor, like Quentin does, I believe.
Do you find yourself as a point? Is it easier for you or hard to be the writer, the director, and the DP? Or would there ever be a role where, like, say for instance, you'd be interested in saying, "Hey, I love this script, let me direct it," or "Hey, I can't have time to direct this. Here's a script. Can you direct it?" Is there anything that you feel would be the first thing that you'd be able to hand over to somebody else for you, so in order for you to do more films?
No. For me, I write and direct what I want to write and direct. I won't read somebody else's script for legal reasons, legalities. You could pitch a story to me if we're friends or something like that. I may write it and then give it to you and say, "Hey, run with it." It's just not worth my time. I was lucky with Ravage because when we finally got to the third group of actors, I fired two other group of actors prior to this. So the third time's the charm. I have a great cast this time around. We filmed May, June, July. So yeah, 3 months, not in a row, obviously, when everybody had a day off. The Butcher was a year and a half because I had technical difficulties and I had to do a lot of reshoots with the Butcher. I lost film footage.
Oh, yeah, I remember you saying that you lost some of
Butcher,
the footage for that. Yeah, I remember you saying that in a previous interview.
Yeah. But I mean, it made it a lot better. It was obviously something because I was looking at it and I said, it was missing something for me, that passion for film. So when we reshot footage that was missing, the violent more, we made them more. We're tying guys up and in handcuffs, and it's very. Somebody was telling me, my God, that was like right out of Scarface. I'm like, I didn't even think about it at the time. The guy's in the bathtub and he's, but those made those scenes more horrific, which sold the Butcher, which made it a lot better. It made it more interesting. I was kind of playing it safe because I didn't want to go that far. And because, I was like, do you go that far? And I'm like, yeah, we spoke about it, especially shooting the baby. And everybody said, but it's necessary for the scene, just do it. And so I just did it. I didn't get any flack for it, but John Carpenter shot a kid. Assault on Precinct 13. She's at the ice cream, the uncut version, if anybody's seen it.
And so if you had some, because you have a very good style when it comes to directing. So hypothetically speaking, if a writer came to you and say, "Hey, can you direct this?" You wouldn't direct somebody else's script.
No. No, no, no. Sorry, I have no interest in it.
So
As much as I might even love their script,
right.
I'm just Exorcist 15, whatever, which are we doing? But I mean, unless it's something that juicy, that
Right.
worthwhile,
Right.
I don't care.
And how close do you say do you say that like that the DP works with the director? So say for instance we have somebody who's looking at creating their own, working on their own self-funded film. What advice would you give? What advice would you give them on finding? Would you tell them you should shoot your own, you should be your own DP, or would you have any advice on these are the qualities you should look for if you're going to hire a DP?
I don't know if I'm the right person to give anybody any type of advice. My thing is, what are you looking for? What's your style? What's your what do you want to put into it? I'm passionate about certain things. That's why, I have a certain style of with Ravage, for instance. There's lots of oneers. There's 5-minute ones, 8-minute oneers. I don't like cutaways too much. I really hate cutaways. I understand why they're necessary, but not in my movie. With Ravage, I also did. I liked for the manic of my one guy, like this Safadi brothers. I like that quick documentary in your face, all that, because that's what the character warrants. He's manic. He's going mad. He's this. He's that. So that's my style of shooting for that particular film. I like playing around different things. I mean, we did different shootings in the butcher. Did he work on when my guy couldn't? I jumped in. I knew specifically what I wanted it to look like, and hopefully everybody else will like it. But back to your question, I don't think I'm the. If you love to do something, go ahead and do it. Everybody's different, so I can't speak for you.
Do you have what would be so? I mean, because you said you were self-taught. What was something that say for on your first? Because you said earlier, like you had some things that were that you filmed that just weren't ready. What were those things that were missing that you learned later that you were able to put in? That you were able to put in and said, because you said Butcher was this is here, this is I'm really proud of this piece. What were some of those things that was missing in the other ones?
I would have to say my first biggest was sound. Learn sound, ladies and gentlemen. Let sound become your friend. I was never that kind of guy that you hear lots of people. I will fix it in post. You ain't gonna post because it's gonna come out looking like. I try to film it right there and get the best take, the best that. Learning style. What's my style? Am I, I like listening and absorbing all the masters. The Butcher had 57 awards. I was never the guy that, hey, you're getting this and you're getting that, and first maybe 5. And I'm like, okay, coming from the bigger festivals, and you're not just winning someplace in Oregon somewhere, but bigger names and bigger places. That's pretty dope coming from somebody like from my background. I was never, like I said, I was never the guy where everybody just, hey, Michael, the greatest thing since sliced bread. That was never my bag. I was never that guy. Not that I was a loser, but things did not come easily to me. My mom always said, you're going to get things later in life. That's what she said. You're going to get things later in life. Things are going to come to you later in life. They did.
So your friend Rachel Keller just asking, what got you into the film industry?
I started as a little kid doing cornflake commercial, and then Dr. Pepper with David Norton. Wouldn't you like to be a Pepper too? In theater and stuff like that. And I was a loner, which I don't mind being. But going into that kind of a profession, and some see that you are looking for some type of an attention. Not necessarily love. I had love. I just, I don't know. It was different. It was different back then, back in the 70s. But that's my background. That's my guy. I had no brothers or sisters to look up to or advice from. I stumbled and fell and did my own stuff. So, you things are right or you think things are wrong, and it's like, okay, well.
So, and as you said, you're in pre-production of The Butcher 2. You're also in pre-production with your My Friend Billy. Talk to us a bit about how your work's in progress. At what point do you have to make sure like you have a film?
My friend Billy is Amityville now.
Okay, all right. My question for you is like, so do you have to start and stop like a project to completion, or when you're like in post-production, you're going to start doing pre-production? Do you kind of have a movement happening where like you're also writing a script at one point while you're filming another movie, or do you start and stop to completion of one project before you start another one?
One project at a time. Phil Herman gave me 36 pages to read because I do Ravage 2. And it's either going to be a prequel or a sequel. It can go either way. I don't want to give away the movie. But lines of what he sent me. I'm not in Ravage 2 mode right now. I'm not in Amityville mode right now. I'm not other than Ravage. I edit as I go, so I always had an assembly. I always had the key pieces in there. I was editing. I was color grading. I was songs around and music around as I'm watching time. Special effects or Foley or that. We just a huge battle scene with 30 extras out at the LA River, and they're all mutations, and everybody's made up to look differently. They're not zombies in my movie; they're mutations. And my lead guy and the lead guy of he's the head of the Ravage creatures. Battle scene going on. It's not a cutaway in sight. And I was so freaking stoked about it. I still am. It's the one day we're at the river, and I was going to cancel that morning. My lead came over to my house at 5 a.m. We had to get to the river by 7. It was raining. One day in LA, it rains in 30 goddamn years, and I'm shooting that morning. And there was a 2 window of no rain. We go out there, and it's completely dark. And the class, I said, oh, this is so freaking dope. Let's shoot it. Let's do it. Let's go in. Blah, blah, blah. I want this. I want these key elements. It's so freaking cool. Oh, yeah. I'm really excited about this movie. Yeah. I keep going. I'm in Ravage mode right now. Just getting the baby off the ground. Once I start sending it out there to film festivals, I'll be able to chill a little bit, and then perhaps just a little breather, taking a step back, and spend 2 months on this film, or a year on that film, or a year on that film. I mean, Butcher 2 has a cast. Whether those people will be with me on the journey, the same thing with Amityville. I cast 40 people in Amityville. Legend. Hopefully some of them will still be with me. Obviously, people are moving on to other projects, stuff like that. I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. Yeah, I'd love to do, like I said, I'd love to do Ravage 2. Maybe I'll have a bonus and it'll be some movie from, I don't know. Ravage just came out of COVID. I was bored. I was home. I was like, I have to film something. I was like getting itchy. I mean, The Butcher, it was filmed in 2018. It went out to festivals 2019, 2020 season. So it was winning 2019, 2020 awards. So I hadn't physically gone out to film anything since 2018. So I was getting, trigger happy, if you will, stir crazy. I was becoming Dean Taylor, the guy in Ravage. I mean, I was going stir crazy. I had to do something, and that's how Ravage was born. That's how Ravage was born.
So Michael, if we have somebody that is listening or watching this, and they say, Michael, I want to do what you do. I have $200. I have $200 to my name. Yeah. What would be your recommendation to use that $200 for? Would it be to buy an editing software system? Would it be to buy a camera? Would it be to? And what would be your advice?
Well, it would be what they want to do. If you want to be a writer, I would take the $200 and go into Final Draft. If you know how to do that, maybe perhaps editing system I use Final Cut. That's like $100. Whatever it is, invested in a camera. I'm filming and gave me a really nice Canon camera that I'm using now. He bought it for me. And it's not 4K. I'm not shooting 4K. That kind of thing. And to invest in camera editing, whatever it is that you want to start investing in, once it's done, then, the festival world. So, that's a few more $1,000s, folks. That's not, when you're seeing people try to get stuff on campaigns, it's also for going to festivals. Festivals can be as little as $10 to enter, could be as high as $85 for Sundance or whatever, and stuff like that. So go to 10, 15 film festivals, 20 film festivals, and you could be at $1,000.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It depends on what you want. Go for the better ones first. I mean, if you're a new person, I'd go a little slower. Don't go to Sundance right away. Don't go to Cannes right away because it's not gonna get in. Start at the smallest, $10 or $15 and see where it goes. Baby steps. Everything's baby steps. I mean, do whatever you want to do. Life is too short, man. Just go for it and do it. Have fun. I see some that are like, oh my God, the this, the that, the drama of it all. If I'm not having fun, I'm not making movies anymore. To be honest with you, I mean, this is fun for me. It's fun editing. I'm on my screen now. Get right behind you. I got the right people behind me, thank God. If I had what I had before, Ravage would have been. I got great actors. I had one, Ed Gage, who's also an actor, but he's also helped with the stunts. Which I didn't have before. I mean, so many different things. This new crowd came along. The LA River. My first guy that I was just doing it as a little short gave me this location. It's called the Bowtie Project. My God, 90% of my movie is shot there. Location. We just filmed at the Santa Monica Pier last week. I did a flashback scene. Look like you're putting money, which I did, but look like there's money up on the screen. I was reading a guy that was saying, with festivals, yeah, we can tell that you filmed in your kitchen. We can tell that you filmed in your garage, with your girlfriend or your boyfriend, or invest in actors. I mean, put a little something into your project.
So we're getting to the top of the hour now. Did you, if somebody wanted to watch Ravage or The Butcher, what's the best way they can see that right now?
Ravage is not available to anybody at the moment.
Okay.
The Butcher was on Amazon Prime. The Butcher was on Amazon Prime for a couple of years. I'm understanding it's off of it. I spoke to my friend Phil, who's one of my distributors. They're going to get it back onto Amazon and Tubi and a couple of other platforms. They were with Avail Entertainment. Asif Asbar was the main guy, and so they had Avail Entertainment. They had their own app on Roku, but that's no longer available because he's more in movie, so they got rid of Avail. The channel. It's still The Butcher is on Vimeo, so I think it's like $1.90 if you want to rent it.
Okay.
Yeah, but Ravage is not anywhere. Ravage is not anywhere out there at all. Not yet. I'm going to be sending it out in film festivals by the end of the year for Ravage. I am looking at a March Los Angeles screening premiere, depending if we can make that happen. Going to a huge, like a week before March, do a huge LA screening of The Butcher. I know this great place, the Let Live Theater. They have a 200-inch screen. I've done screenings there before, and I was going to give them the money, and then the following week, COVID hit. LA was in a lockdown. Glad I saved my money, and so that was that. Again, it depends on where we are 2 months from now, next week. Let alone March. I see people that are planning, they're filming shoots in Vegas right now. They're going to Texas right now. All right. Good luck for you.
Right. Yeah. Cool. Well, this has been a great interview, Michael. It's been great, talking with you and just really kind of getting to understand the, depths of what it takes to make that, make film. It's not easy.
It's not easy, but I love the independent. I love that. I love the guerrilla style filmmaking. I love, running to grab footage here and grab footage there. You have to have the love and the passion, like I said, or otherwise it's not worth my time, investing my time in doing something like that. Do whatever you want to do, guys. I'm no philosopher. Just do whatever you want to do. Today you can get anything done with cameras. I shot parts of The Butcher with my iPhone. So there's iPhone footage in there as well. Go out there and make a movie. Why? Because we like making movies. Quentin.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much, Michael. And come back on when you're wanting to talk about Butcher 2.
On a happy note. Yeah, whatever. Ravage 2. Yeah, thanks for having me. It's been a blast.
So how is it? So why would you say, culturally speaking, the difference between like California and New York for you?
Well, it took me some getting used to Los Angeles because New York of the fast pace.
Right.
If saying we're going to have lunch at 3, we're having lunch at 3. Here, you can be 45 minutes to an hour late and they're on time. Everybody out here is slow. Transportation wise, not mentally slow, but transportation wise. Well, that too, but no. Yeah.
Is it true? Is it true that in New York and in California people don't wear suits either, right?
I think I've personally worn a suit. I'm out here 30. September will be 31 years. I think I've personally worn a suit 5 or 6 times.
I think I saw that.
I see people in Bermuda shorts and Hawaiian shirts going to a funeral. So I don't know.
I think I saw it was like a comedian said something sometime. He said, like, it's like if you see somebody wearing a suit in California, you think they might work at J.C. Penney's or something. Like,
could be. You never know. You never know.